Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the agenda review meeting for the Pittsburgh Public Schools and Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit. Tonight is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. We will begin with the Pittsburgh Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit, and I will turn the meeting over to Ms. Jennifer Solak.
Thank you and good evening. I have 13 items tonight. Under Business Consultants and Contracted Services, 24.01 is a contract with Therapy Works to provide speech therapy services at Schumann Center and Allegheny County Jail to meet the needs of students with IEPs who need speech. I have 6 items under Business and Payment Authorized. 25.01 are our daily payments for the month of March. 25.02 is a payment to Educational Alchemy, LLC for professional development in English language arts for teachers at various diocesan schools. 25.03 is a payment to the IU3 Reading Achievement Center for professional development in structured literacy for teachers at various diocesan schools. 25.04 is a payment to Loyola University for professional development and leadership development for school leaders in various diocesan schools. 25.05 is a payment to Safety Care for registration for teachers to attend a crisis prevention training. 25.06 is to authorize payment to the University of Pittsburgh Tri-State Area School Study Council for professional development on drafting curriculum maps for core content areas for various diocesan schools. I have 6 items under business and general authorization. 26.01 is an agreement to provide Pittsburgh Public Schools a $12,000 data governance stipend. 26.02 is to authorize the renewal of the 24-25 services agreement with Omni Group to serve as a third-party administrator of the IU's 403B programs. 26.03 is to authorize adoption of the 2025-2026 non-public program calendar. 26.04 is to authorize, it's a placeholder, to authorize entering into an agreement with Pittsburgh Public Schools to provide compensatory education services to the students at the Allegheny County Jail and at Schumann Center. 26.05 is a placeholder for entering into an agreement with Pittsburgh Public Schools to provide extended school year programming for students at the Allegheny County Jail and at Schumann Center. And 26.06 is to authorize entering into an agreement with the Wilson Group to lease an office copier for 60 months. That's all I have this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Solak. Do we have any questions or comments from board members on the Pittsburgh Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit agenda for this month? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to the agenda for Pittsburgh Public Schools, and we'll start with the education portion, and I will turn the meeting over to Dr. Sean McNeil.
Thank you. There are 6 items under Education Proposal Grant Awards. Item 5.01 is to accept a grant to support summer programming for Afghan students, parent workshops, and digital literacy sessions. Item 5.02 is to accept a grant to pay for a social worker intern at Pittsburgh Manchester. Item 5.03 is to accept a grant award to support summer career development opportunities and paid internships for up to 30 students. Item 5.04 is to accept a grant from the Sandy Hook Promise for students at Pittsburgh King. Item 5.05 is to submit and accept a grant from Patan to support literacy skills for economically disadvantaged early learners. Item 5.06 is to accept a grant to support a summer program for Ukrainian students, parent workshops, and digital literacy sessions. There are 20 items under Education Consultants Contracted Services. Item 6.01 is a contract for compensatory education service for students at Allegheny County Jail and Schumann Detention Center. Item 6.02 is a contract to provide extended school year programming for students at Allegheny County Jail and Schumann Detention Center. Item 6.03 is for a contract to provide comprehensive staffing services for PSE. Item 6.04 is a contract to provide comprehensive staffing services for PSE. Item 6.05 is to make payment to Attack Theater for providing dance workshops to students in ESY programs. Item 6.06 is for a contract to provide comprehensive staffing services. Item 6.07 is to enter into an agreement with the Carnegie Science Center to conduct a 2-week summer camp. Item 6.08 is to approve payment to Envision Blind Sports to provide a 1-week camp for students. Item 6.09 is to make payment to Grow Pittsburgh for students to learn about the development of a community garden. Item 6.10 is to approve payment to Hand in Hand Coaching Services to provide a summer camp for students. Item 6.11 is to approve a contract with the Human Services Administration Organization for services provided at Pittsburgh Westinghouse. Item 6.12 is to approve a contract to provide psychological services. Item 6.13 is to make payment to Open Up Yoga for services provided to students in the ESY programs. Item 6.14 is to approve payment for the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts Artist Residency Program. Item 6.15 is to make payment to the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium to provide zoo mobile outreach for the ESY program. Item 6.16 is to make payment to Play Notes for providing music therapy services to students in the ESY programs. Item 6.17 is to enter into contracts for school-based counseling services. Item 6.18 is to make payment to the National Aviary to provide outreach programming during ESY. Item 6.19 is to approve a contract to provide psychological services. Item 6.20 is to make payment to Wesley Family Services for PSE paraprofessionals training. There are 9 items under education payments authorized. Item 7.01 is to approve payment to Airheads Balloon Art. Item 7.02 is also to approve payment to Airheads Balloon Art. Item 7.03 is to make payments to ALL Tours for a field trip. Item 7.06 is to make payment to Junior Achievement of Western PA for budgeting lessons provided to students. Item 7.07 is to authorize payment to Kona Ice. Item 7.08 is to approve students and chaperones to attend the Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science state competition. Item 7.09 is to pay for the certification of the Safety Care Behavioral Safety Training Program. Item 7.10 is for the purchase of floral arrangements for the 2025 commencement programs. Item 7.11 is to make payment to United Inflatable Rides for the Pittsburgh Langley Field Day. There are 8 items under Education General Authorization. Item 8.01 is to accept gift bags for students. Item 8.02 is to accept a donation of running shoes for students. Item 8.03 is to accept a donation from the One Tree Per Child program from Tree Pittsburgh. Item 8.04 is to approve a field trip to the state capitol in Harrisburg, PA, and Hershey Park. Item 8.05 is to approve the district's state comprehensive plan. Item 8.06 is to amend item number 6.17, Education Consultants and Contracted Services, approved at the June 22nd, 2022 legislative meeting and previously amended at the January 29th, 2025 legislative meeting. Item 8.07 is to amend item 5.04, Education Proposal Grants Awards, approved at the October 23rd, 2024 legislative meeting. And item 8.08 is to amend item number 6.03, UPMC Sports Medicine, approved at the April 26, 2023 legislative session. That concludes the education section of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. McNeil. Do we have questions, comments from board members? Director Silk.
Thank you. I wanted to lift up concerns raised by the City Controller's Office and a communication to the school board regarding items 6.03, 6.04, and 6.06, and get a response to those concerns. Primarily, the concern focused on the fact that the RFP for these services was only posted for 11 days, and that, quote, best practices generally suggest RFPs should be posted for 30 days. And this communication comes along with a recommendation for school directors to vote no on these items. And so I wanted to open that up for a response. Thank you.
Patty, do you want me to start, and then I'll hand it off to you? So thank you for raising those concerns. So generally, at the state level, there is no state guideline for the time frame for which we have a RFP out. There are guidelines for competitive bids. Generally, well, it's stated that best practices are 30 days. We try to do probably 21 days. When, in the case of this RFP, a request was made to my office to provide a sample RFP, which was not complied with in an appropriate amount of time, which did truncate the window that we had to post the RFP. One of the reasons why we needed to have the RFP expedited was so that we can ensure continuation of services for ESY programming and programming over the summer as the current contract is coming to an end. And Ms. Camper can go into details about the number of applicants that we received. So I understand why the duration may be a concern, but given the number of applicants and respondents that we did have, that duration of the posting didn't limit our ability to have a robust candidate pool.
Thank you.
Good evening. And so I'll just add to that we had 34 respondents for this RFP. It seemed like the controller's concern was that it wasn't a competitive bidding process. But in fact, we had 34 respondents. Of the 3 contractors we had in 2022, only one of those 3 has been maintained, even though all 3 did apply to the RFP. So it was a competitive bidding process. I'm happy to share our evaluation tool, our rubric, and the scores for all 34 applicants, if the board would like that level of detail.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, was that shaking your head that you had something to say, or you?
I wasn't.
Or did I just wait
I
long
was
enough
just going
so
to say,
something popped
I do
up?
not need to see it because you have a process. It isn't like you just did it and pulled their names out of a hat. Because you have a process, it's very thorough. I'm satisfied with what we do, and therefore I don't need to have a more specific listing of individuals and companies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I had questions about this too. You've answered most of them. I'm just curious, and so there's a, I guess insinuation is the right word, from Controller Heisler and a couple other folks that, like, the totals that are for these contracts will actually be significantly higher. So I think the totals that we're looking at is just around 16 to 18 million, give or take. But I think she's suggesting that it could be upwards of $25 million by the time it's all said and done. And I'm trying to kind of rectify like where that thinking comes from. Is there, like, is it a charter school thing where we're being taken advantage of by charter schools like always? Or is it, like, is there a do not exceed number on these like we would with most other contracts?
So there is a do not exceed. These are 3-year agreements, and so we do at times amend, to increase, but I don't have any projection that we would. I did see that number as well. I'm not sure how she calculated, but we do have a do not exceed, and I will say this is not involved in charter schools. The services that are provided by our contractors are around very specialized areas such as nursing, speech and language pathologists, OTs, PTs, school psychologists. Certainly RBTs is something that we've amended for one of our current contractors. So it's services for, our staff sometimes take leave, and these are not positions that we can fill just in our typical substitute portal. So we have to maintain contractors to ensure that we provide services to students with disabilities that are required regardless of, someone's leave of absence.
Okay. And then the last question, I know that these are PSC contracts, so do they come from the PSC budget, or are they part of the general fund budget? Where's the money coming from?
They come from the special education budget, and I believe some are access funds as well. The special education budget is partially funded by the general fund. There is a line item general fund budget that recognizes the transfer of funds to the special education fund. Is also partially funded by the state subsidy that we get.
Okay. And this is state funding primarily, not federal, so is there any risk that the craziness in Washington will blow this thing up to where prices get out of control, or is that something we can't speak to?
I can't predict that, but our special education budget actually is, the vast majority of it comes from our general fund. We get $30 million from the state. We contribute about $90 million from general funds, and then we have the other federal funding sources like IDEA or our access fundings.
Okay. Okay, last question. I thought it was my last one before, but now it's my last one. And 3 years is our normal contract length for these types of services? Or is this a special circumstance that we're getting into this year?
The previous one was also 3 years. So we do try to maintain partnerships so that we have continuity of service. So the last contracts were done in 2022, and so we're just following that same 3-year contracted period.
Thank you. Ms. Talaferro?
This is just a quick question for clarity. Do we still have a liaison or representative from the controller's office that meets with us? Or I know that there was a person in the past. You're looking at me like I'm not right.
So there are individuals upstairs in the controls department who are district employees that handle the functions of the controller's office in the district. In the past, there really hasn't been a liaison that we would meet directly. There have been times where the controller has been requested to attend certain meetings, and I believe there's a representative from the controller's office that attends these meetings, but not a direct liaison from the controller's office. We do have district employees that do perform the work of the controller's office, and we do work very well with them.
Okay. And was your office notified about the concern that the controller sent to the board specifically?
No, I was not notified,
Okay, thank
but
you.
I was notified about it secondhand.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Silk?
Just a quick point of clarification. My final thank you was a thank you for the answer and not a yes, I would like all of the rubrics. So I'm plussing one, Director Wilson, and do not want to be assigning that work to staff and wanted to be clear. Thank you.
I mean, I think it's beneficial to know that there was an overwhelming response to this. I think there's a perception that the three contracts that we chose are the only 3 people that applied, and therefore we were at risk of being taken advantage of or overcharged. But it doesn't sound like that is the case, and so thank you. All right, I guess I should probably check Zoom because there are folks on Zoom. All right, I don't see any questions on Zoom, so we will move on now to the business section. I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Joseph.
Under consulting and contracted services, there are 31 items. Item 10.01 is a contract for general work associated with emergency generator replacements at various locations. Item 10.02 is a contract to support public engagement efforts related to key information, enrollment periods, and back to school. Item 10.03 is a contract for abatement work associated with emergency generator replacements at various locations. Item 10.04 is a contract for electrical work associated with an emergency generator replacement at Whittier. Item 10.05 is a contract for electrical work associated with an emergency generator replacement at various locations. Item 10.06 is for the purchase of discovery kits from the Carnegie Science Center. Item 10.07 is a contract for secondary internet service. Item 10.08 is a contract for the purchase of security cameras on an as-needed basis. Item 10.03 is a contract with Dillon, McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham LLP to serve as co-counsel alongside in-house counsel Weiss Burkhardt Kramer in the matter of Marie Weber et al. Versus the City of Pittsburgh. Item 10.10 is a contract for the preparation and filing of an H-1B petition. Item 10.11 is a contract to replace the air conditioning units for the computer data center at the Central Operations Building. Item 10.12 is a contract to prepare expert reporting in an ongoing legal matter. Item 10.13 is a contract for the purchase of 2 mobile personnel lifts for the carpentry programs at Carrick and Westinghouse. Item 10.14 is a contract to provide architectural services for the finished floor replacement at Allegheny. Item 10.15 is a contract to provide architectural services for the finished floor replacement at Sunnyside. Item 10.16 is a contract for on-call engineering and design services for various locations throughout the district. Item 10.17 is a contract for abatement work associated with an emergency generator replacement at Whittier. Item 10.18 is a contract with Houston Harbaugh. Item 10.19 is a contract to provide architectural services for finished floor replacement at Westwood. Item 10.20 is a contract to conduct a safety and security assessment of all district school buildings. Item 10.21 is a contract for building automation controls. Item 10.22 is a contract for mandated safety inspections for the stage theatrical equipment at various locations throughout the district. Item 10.23 is a contract to purchase 900 units of replacement water filters. Item 10.24 is a contract for general work associated with an emergency generator replacement at Whittier. Item 10.25 is a software license renewal for the PD platform. Item 10.26 is for the purchase of a supplemental tool used to support general music instruction. Item 10.27 is a contract for electrical work associated with door entry system replacements throughout the district. Item 10.28 is a contract for electrical work associated with gym and pool lighting replacement at Brashear and Carrick. Item 10.29 is a contract for electrical work associated with site lighting replacements at various locations throughout the district. Item 10.30 is a software license renewal for the learning management system. And item 10.31 is a contract for plumbing work associated with the finished floor replacement at the Roosevelt Early Childhood Center. Under payments authorized, item 11.01 contains the change orders for this month, and item 11.02 is for the approval of the daily payments for March. Under general authorization, item 12.01 is a loan agreement with the Carnegie Museum of Art. Item 12.02 is for the approval of the Manchester Chateau TRID. Item 12.03 is for the approval of the yellow bus driver list for the period ending April 8, 2025. And item 12.04 is an amendment to our contract with PALCO. Item 16 contains the travel reimbursement applications, the travel report, and the EBE report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Are there any additional questions or comments or discussion around the business section of the agenda? All right, seeing none. I do want to, before we move forward, call attention to 2 things that are not on the agenda. We don't usually do that, but there were a couple of anticipated things that were folks thought were going to be on the agenda that are not. The first is there is no resolution to for opening the public hearing process for potential school closures. That is intentional because we have not gotten additional information and reports from the superintendent. So it makes sense that we continue to wait for that information. And so we can kind of take a breath again for this month and know that that work continues in central office. And when the report is ready, we will announce that to the public so that that meeting can happen. The other thing that's not on the agenda that I will turn it over to Dr. Walters to explain is there's no item for hiring a demographer. And so I will turn that over to Dr. Walters to explain why and what's next.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Walker, and good evening, Board of Directors. As Superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools, I do want to take a moment to clearly share the work we've been doing behind the scenes in response to the board's requests regarding our facilities utilization plan, and more importantly, to outline our path forward. Following my request last month to postpone the vote to open the public commentary period on proposed facility closures, our team has been working diligently to revise and expand our feasibility report in response to the feedback from both the board and the public. And I want to be clear that the vote we requested was not a vote to close schools. It was a vote to begin a state-required public commentary period, a process that is not only mandated by law, but also essential to ensure our community has a formal opportunity to provide input on the proposed recommendations. And since we will bring this request forward again in the near future, it is important that we clear up any confusion and clearly explain the purpose and importance of this vote. We are finalizing several key reports requested by the board, including financial impact analyses, transportation considerations, capital investment needs, and alignment with instructional practices aimed at improving student outcomes. This added information will provide a more complete and transparent review of how the proposed recommendations could affect our students, families, and overall district operations. And our goal is to ensure that the board is fully equipped with the information needed to make informed, thoughtful decisions. Consistent with ERS's recommendations to address attendance zones, we issued a request for proposals for a demographer. We received 2 responses. One proposal at a cost of $207,031 came from a non-local firm that lacked a clear understanding of the unique context of Pittsburgh. The second proposal was at $272,600, acknowledged after our initial meeting that they would not be able to deliver on the full scope of work as outlined in the request for proposal. And so in response, we chose a strategic and fiscally responsible path. Although this will add a significant lift to our team, we will leverage the expertise of our internal team. We have the tools, the data, and historical attendance zone information needed to conduct this analysis in-house. Again, I want to articulate that this is a significant lift to our team, but we will make that adjustment. And this approach will allow us to be both cost-effective and responsive to student and community needs. This work is already underway in creating and sharing needed attendance zones for selected schools, and we will share that information as soon as it is ready. In late May, we will publicly present the updates to our feasibility report, which will include a final set of recommendations and proposed phasing for the facilities utilization plan. And this will be done with the transparency our families and staff deserve, and with a steadfast commitment to student success and the long-term sustainability. And we understand the gravity of this work and the impact it may have on our communities. Our goal is not simply to close buildings. It is to create a stronger, more sustainable district that better serves every student in creating high-quality educational outcomes and experiences for all. So I thank you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Dr. Walters. I will create space for any questions or comments from board members on this issue. All right, seeing none, we have one more special announcement, and I will turn the floor over to Director Barker.
Good evening, everyone. On Monday, April 14th, I had the honor of attending a very special graduation ceremony for a Pittsburgh Conroy student, DeAndre Johnson, who was receiving care at home through hospice. I want to take this time to thank Dr. Walters, Patty Camper, Principal Scadell, and the dedicated Pittsburgh Conroy staff for organizing this non-traditional ceremony. It was the one wish DeAndre's family had as they prepared his transition from this earth. Even in the face of such deep sadness, DeAndre's wonderful and brave parents showed great strength and love. Their courage was truly moving. I feel thankful I could be a part of this powerful moment, which showed just how much PPS cares for its students. My deepest condolences go out to DeAndre's family and everyone who knew and loved him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barker. And I echo his thanks to Dr. Walters, Ms. Camper, the whole Concord family, or Conroy family, excuse me, get all emotional here. I know this is not a traditional thing that we do, kind of making comments on students that pass, but this was truly a special moment that we were, as a district, were able to coordinate and plan and execute for his family and for this student. So I'm extremely proud to be a part of an organization that cares this deeply for our families and our kids, and look forward to continue in that service. So with that, if there is nothing else, now that I've made everybody cry, or at least I think Mr. Barker did, but we just added on. If there are no other questions or comments or concerns, I will adjourn this meeting for tonight. Everyone, please have a safe drive home if you are out, and we will see you again on Monday.